Who is Andrew Jackson? Andrew Jackson was a very important part of the American history. He was the seventh president of the United States. Why is he so important? Andrew Jackson made plenty of things throughout his life, but during his presidency, he started the Democratic Party, which was a very big step for the American people in that time and has impacted the people to this day now. Andrew Jackson was born on March 15, 1767. He was born in the colonial Carolinas to the Scotch-Irish family in the decade before the American Revolutionary War. Jackson did not receive a full-time education. He was moved from places and school. He did not have a normal education. Coming up to a young age, he started working for a saddle maker and eventually taught school. He apparently prospered in neither professions. Jackson found the interest in law and showed it to be good at it. In 1787, he was admitted to the North Carolina bar. His life took a turn and was able to buy a first slave for the first time. He moved in 1788 to a small frontier town in Nashville where he lived as a borderer. In addition to his legal and political career, Jackson prospered as a planter, slave owner, and merchant. He built a home and the first general store in Gallatin, Tennessee in 1803. And let me tell you, it was a pretty nice house. His career moved along so fast. In 1802, he was appointed general of the Tennessee militia. During the War of 1812, Jackson was the first president to invite the public to attend the inauguration ball at the White House. He led the U.S. troops on a 5-month campaign against the British Allied Creek Indians. The campaign culminated with Jackson's victory at the Battle of Horseshoe Bend in March 1814. This resulted in the killing of some 800 warriors and the eventual procurement by the United States of 20 million acres of land in present-day Georgia and Alabama. Thanks to his success, he was promoted to Major General. He did not stop there. Later on, he led his forces into the Spanish territory of Florida and captured the outpost of Pensacola in November 1814. Following weeks of the skirmishes in December 1814, the two sides clashed on January 8, 1815. Although outnumbered nearly 2-1, Jackson led 5,000 soldiers to an unexpected victory over the British in the Battle of New Orleans, the last major engagement of the War of 1812. After a bruising campaign, Andrew Jackson, with South Carolina's John C. Calhoun as his vice president running mate, won the presidential elections of 1828 by a landslide over Adams. With his election, Jackson became the first frontier president and the first chief executive who resided outside of either Massachusetts or Virginia. Jackson was the first president to invite the public to attend the inauguration ball at the White House. The crowd that arrived was so large that furniture and dishes were broken as people jostled one another to get a look at the president. The event earned Jackson the nickname King Mob. Jackson turned down an offer to run as governor of his home state but accepted John Overton's plan to have the legislature nominate him for president with 56% of the popular vote and nearly 5 times as many electoral votes. This really shows that people really wanted him. Andrew Jackson created a political party from nothing. The negative reaction to the House's decision resulted in Jackson's renomination for the presidency in 1825, 3 years before the next election. The grassroots supporters of Old Hickory called themselves Democrats and would eventually form the Democratic Party. Thus, the Democratic Party was born. Jackson became involved in a battle with the Second Bank of the United States, a theoretically private corporation that actually served as a government-sponsored monopoly. Jackson saw the bank as a corrupt, elitist institution that manipulated paper money and wielded too much power over the economy. Throughout his presidency, Jackson yearned for a quiet retirement at the Hermitage. Jackson yearned to see his policies carried through and his reputation vindicated. Martin Van Buren, his hand-picked successor as president, had become his closest political confidant. Honors and tributes enriched Jackson's retirement. He was a living symbol of democracy, and an endless parade of admirers went to the Hermitage to do him homage. Jackson accepted public tributes with humility, but he seemingly never tired of them. In 1840, he dragged himself to New Orleans for a 25th anniversary celebration of his great triumph. He died on June 8, 1945.